studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses, growing up in a Baptist and Pentecostal church, and then you know, I never even heard of the Seventh Adventist till I met him. Oh, I said, oh, okay, you keep Saturday, I'll keep Sunday, that's okay. You know, but till I found out that they don't eat this, they don't eat that, they don't do this on Sabbath too. And I said, what don't you do? Yeah, he was okay.
All right, now, what we're going to do here is to unravel the way Yahweh God is going to deliver his people in the last days. Now, this will probably bring open the answers to a few questions, particularly about idol worship, about Jesus, about Christians, about Jews, because I'm not a rabbi, I'm not a preacher, and you're not a rabbi or a preacher. We're just going to read what the good book says, and we're taking the text out of the original Hebrew text. This is what you call the Stones Hebrew edition, and we're taking the text also out of the King James Version. So, what we'll do is just read it.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll start here if you like. First of all, we've taken from Amos 3:7 that we believe that Yahweh, the Creator God, would not allow mankind to self-destruct. And we believe that if he's the creator of everything on this earth, then he has a plan to save everything on this earth before mankind corrupts it completely and destroys it. Now in Amos 3:7, the words say, surely the sovereign Yahweh does nothing without revealing his plans to his servants and prophets. So we've taken the attitude that if we go back to the book, have a look at what the servants were told by Yahweh, we're going to get the answers to our question. In Isaiah 2, it refers to a mountain. I read what it says. This is what Isaiah, son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. In the last days, so we are referring to the time of the end, or the last days, the latter days. It goes on to say, the mountain of Yahweh's temple will be established as chief among the mountains, and it will be raised above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Now later on we'll put a graphic up to show you what that actually says. All nations will stream to a mountain. It goes on, many peoples will come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we may walk in his paths. And the law will go out from Zion, and the word of Yahweh will go out from Jerusalem. Now in Micah 4, you can take over there, Micah 4.
In Micah 4:1, in the last day the mountain of Yahweh's temple will be established as chief among the mountains. It will be raised above the hills, and the people will stream to it. Many nations will come and say, come, let's go up to the mountains of Yahweh, to the house of God Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we may walk his path. The law will go out from Zion, the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Continue. Isaiah 2:4. He will judge between the nation, and he will settle dispute for many people. They will beat their swords into the plowshares, and their spears into the pruning hooks. Nation will not take up swords against nation, nor will they train war anymore.
So it's obvious here that at this time of the latter days, Yahweh is acting as a judge against the nations. And it's obvious that there's not going to be any wars at this particular time. Now the story is going to unfold to show us what he's going to do to stop this. In verse 5 it says, come, O house of Jacob, let us walk in the light of Yahweh, the day of Yahweh. Now this is talking about a judgment day. And if we go back in time, we'll say that the first judgment day would have been the time of the flood. So We'll have to take that one out.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
right.
I can take that off. Okay.
No, yeah.
I can take that off. In verse 5, again, it says, O house of Jacob, let us walk in the light of Yahweh, for the day of Yahweh. The day of Yahweh has come. It's a judgment day. And if we go back in time, we will realise that the first judgment day would have been when Yahweh, God the Creator, said to Noah, make a boat, and for 150 years he told everybody, or Noah told everybody, hop on board the boat and be saved, and nobody took any notice of him. As we know, the story says only 8 people hopped on board before the flood. That was a judgment day. Well, there is another judgment day coming up in the last days. 6.
You abandoned your people, the house of Jacob. They are full of superstition from the east. They practice division like the Philistines and collapse hands with pagans.
So what he's saying here is that the children of Israel are already in the hands of the pagan worshipping system. 7.
Their land is full of silver and gold. There is no end to their treasures. Their land is full of horses, and there is no end to their chariots.
Now, verse 8 it goes on, their land is full of idols, and they bow down to the work of their own hands, to what their fingers have made. Now, we're going to see here that in Daniel 2 shortly, that Yahweh is going to make sure there is no idols on the world, in the earth, in the last days.
So Isaiah 2:9, so many people will be brought low and mankind humble. Do not forgive them. Go into the rocks, hide in the ground from the deeds of Yahweh and splendor of his majesty. The eyes of the arrogant man will be humbled, and the pride of man brought low. Yahweh alone will be exalted in the days.
So there's coming a time on the judgment day that Yahweh will be worshipped, and no other idol, no other religion will be following any other deity. In Isaiah 56:6, it says, and foreigners who bind themselves to Yahweh to serve him, to love the name of Yahweh and to worship him, all who keep the Sabbath day without desecrating it, and who hold fast to Yahweh's covenant. These, he says, I will bring to my holy mountain. Again, notice that we're talking about a holy mountain. These he will bring to his holy mountain and give them joy in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and sacrifices will be accepted on my altar, for my house will be called a house of prayer for all nations. Now,
Isaiah 56:8, the sovereign Yahweh declares, he who gathers the exiles of Israel, I will gather still others to them. Besides those already gathered, God's accusation against the wicked.
Against
the wicked.
Now it goes on there, you understand what it's just said there, that there are wicked people who are representing Yahweh. Of course, he goes on to say in verse 9, come all you beasts. Now when you're looking at the text, you think, who are the beasts? Well, they're the false teachers if you read the context. So in other words, come you false teachers of the field is the people, come and devour all you beasts of the forest are